But the next one is the one I got really pissed off.
Oh, so the last one was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Because-
it was less annoying because the next one is saying that unit testing is not very good for productivity, and the reason is he never found an actual bug using unit tests.
Oh, of course, silly us.
He says that due to the fact that unit testing didn't really help him find actual real big real world bugs, it doesn't really enhance his productivity, which is not exactly like the researchers are claiming. But
But
it's
that
okay.
doesn't matter. The goal of unit testing, and this is a very common misconception, the goal of unit testing is not to find bugs. The goal of unit testing is to provide confidence to the development organization that when you want to change your code, you have the confidence that everything's tested and you can go ahead and change with ease. And you don't need to go into the paralysis you see so often in legacy projects when there are no tests and you go in to change something and you're scared because you don't know if it will ruin the project.
And of course, you might have noticed with Typemock, we do unit tests, so we think that's a good practice to do.
Yeah. Like Doron said, unit tests give you the confidence to change your code. What you see in an environment where you don't have unit tests is that people don't take responsibility, not even for their code, and they're afraid to go into someone else's code. And this leads to paralysis. This leads to less productivity because people are afraid to change the code, even to fix bugs or to add features. That hampers the quickness or the ability to produce results. And I remember being in projects like that way back when, and it's a real fear. It's a real fear that people actually don't want to go into the code and change it because they don't know the code, because they don't know what will happen, and they don't want to talk to QA people.
But I thought that doing unit testing is working with the right methodology, working in the right way, so your code will be easy to change if you need it. So you'll be able to modify if you need. You'll be able to find bugs much easier than the ping pong between you and the QA. I mean, I don't understand the fact that he says that bugs are not caught. I mean, if they are caught eventually,
You
there
can
are
say
bugs.
that there are some conceptions that bugs caught during the development itself. If I change something and a test broke, it's not a bug because these things happen, and if I tested myself I would find it anyway and then fix it, and bugs are only caught on the customer side.
Yeah, but it takes you much longer to do it that way.
Of course, and it's much more costly, but in my opinion, a bug you catch that way saves you money. It's not something trivial.
And it's a bug that won't return because the minute it comes back to your code, you catch it once again.
And isn't that the point of productivity eventually? If you
Yeah, his point is ridiculous. I'm sorry, Scott. Your point is ridiculous.
And lastly, and I have to say this one thing, I do agree with Scott. He says that anything that makes code more maintainable before you kill me, he means the fact that a lot of developers fall to this paralysis pit where they try to make the code better and better and better, and it never ends, and I need to do it more maintainable. And actually, Scott, if you would have listened to the development methodology, it's called YAGNI. You know, ain't gonna need it.
It's called YAGNI. YAGNI is you ain't gonna need it, which means don't develop something you don't know you're going to need.
And we agree with that.
Yeah, it's also called gold plating. You don't need your code being fancy with a lot of cool features. You don't need the product to do something special. Just deliver what the customer wants. That's being productive. I agree with Scott's there, but I'm still angry at him about the last 2 points.
Yeah,
So.
and Gil, would you like to talk about the dinner you had 2 days ago?
Okay, so Uncle Bob Martin was in Israel for 2 days. We met with him for dinner, and when I say we, that means Doron, myself, Roy, and the bunny. No, the bunny wasn't there.
The bunny wasn't invited, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, he looks sad now. It was a very interesting evening. Yeah, no, it wasn't. Okay, next time. A very interesting evening. It's like many of our lunch breaks here. It was like a geeky, a very geeky conversation. We discussed gaming and we discussed programming languages and the Microsoft world versus the Java world. A very long and interesting evening. Maybe we'll read it in a post or two in the future, in the past.
Yeah, and Bob, I really enjoy talking to you about StarCraft and about Larry Niven books, and I'm looking forward for the next time you're going to be over in our neck of the woods. Shall we continue to the next point?
Of course, that's what we hear.
Okay. I think this really ties in with Scott's point about this and that, whatever he was on. I have a post from the .NET Developer Journal about the 5 ironies of unit testing. An irony, as opposed to sarcasm, is when you say something and you mean it, but you're saying it in an offhanded way. And the first irony is that, and this is a point I really strongly disagree with, and this is what the guy writing this perceived as an irony in unit testing, is that the developers that do unit tests don't really need it. The star developers, the advanced developers, the alpha geeks do unit tests, but they don't really need it because these are the people that would write good code from the beginning, and the average run-of-the-mill recent college graduate 9-to-5 developers don't write unit tests, and they could benefit the most from it.
I guess they can benefit more, but I don't really know a developer that doesn't write bug or want
No, I was like that. I was like that before.
Well, other than Gil.
Yeah.
And, we have him here in Typemock, so every other company in the world need to do unit tests.
Exactly. But I think that when I started doing unit tests, I found out bugs, so I guess it's okay. It's very weird. No, I haven't tested students. It doesn't really matter what level of programming you are. If we go back to the why unit tests work, they give you the confidence. I don't think qualified and seasoned programmers need less confidence than the students themselves. I think the most experienced one write unit tests because they know it gives them the confidence. Well, students really miss this.
I guess what he meant, the point was that the one that really needs unit tests more is the developers that need guidance, because unit testing done right with the right people and the right mentoring gives you some kind of guidance. And I guess that you can say that there are people that will write perfect code, at least API-wise, not bug-wise. Yeah, with the bunny. Yeah.
I don't know. I think the point is ridiculous because I used to work in a professional kitchen, and I learned that I learned that the best chefs use the best tools. You learn enough to know your profession, and you become a real craftsman, and then you use the best tools. You use unit tests to test yourself. You use test-driven development in order to design a system.
Yeah, but I guess that what he's saying that the newbie developer really needs.
I agree to that part of the. I agree to that clause, but saying that the stars, the alpha geeks, the strong developers don't need unit tests. I guess that if you would go and ask them, do they need unit tests? They would say, of course we need unit tests. It's part of our basic tools. We need unit tests like we need a development environment.
Yeah, of course, but perhaps they need it less.
Okay, whatever.